Do you find it puzzling when people with the least knowledge boast the most about their intellect? Today we're diving into why stupid people think they're smart. It's a common issue affecting judgment and decisions daily. If ignored, this can lead to bigger mistakes and missed opportunities. Understanding this can dramatically improve your interactions and self-awareness. By the end of this video, you'll understand the science behind why some people think they're smarter than they are. Let's start. Number 10. They are overconfident. Overconfidence kicks in when people start thinking they are the undisputed experts, even when they might be more like novices. It's like they skipped the class on self-reflection, and that's where the Dunning-Kruger effect takes center stage. This quirky psychological dance suggests that folks with not-so-stellar skills tend to give themselves a standing ovation, completely oblivious to the gaps in their knowledge. And it's not just about overrating themselves. There's also this illusionary superiority playing out in their brains, a grand illusion where those with a limited understanding believe they've unraveled the mysteries of the universe. Why? Because they haven't faced the real brain-bending challenges yet. So, how do you dodge the overconfidence pothole? It's all about keeping it real about what you know, acknowledging the mysteries, and embracing the mindset of perpetual learning. Number 9. Influence of social groups. Ever notice those people who don't bother much with thinking things through? Yeah, they're the ones who just ride the wave of whatever their buddies are into. If the gang's sold on an idea, they're all in, even if those ideas lack depth. When their whole gang is on the same page, it's like this silent agreement that they're all part of the genius club. But, truth be told, it might be more like basic ABCs than advanced PhDs. Oh, and their social circles? It can turn into these echo chambers where ideas just bounce around, even if they're not exactly brain fuel. And these guys, they're not exactly the debate team captains. Questioning or challenging the group's ideas is not exactly their forte. So, you end up with a crew of self-declared intellects, even if the smarts might be getting a bit overhyped. Number 8. They are afraid of admitting ignorance. Some people who might not be big on brain power find it tricky to own up when they're in the dark about something. Why? Well, this is fear lurking in the shadows. The fear that if they admit not knowing, others might think they're not all that capable or sharp. So instead of facing the music, they play the know-it-all card. This fear isn't just about knowledge. It's like a tag-along buddy with self-esteem and the wish to look good in the eyes of others. Saying, "I don't know," feels like a hit to their confidence, so they steer clear of it like it's a pothole. The kicker is that this reluctance to give up can turn into a loop of overconfidence. Rather than embracing the challenge to learn and level up, those with a bit less up-to-date knowledge act like they've got it all figured out, making their misconceptions even stickier. Number 7. They are limited in self-awareness. Some people have trouble knowing what they're good at and where they need to learn more. It's like not having a clear idea of your strengths and weaknesses. Self-awareness is about being real with yourself, knowing your strengths and weaknesses. Now, for those who aren't topping the charts in the brain power department, it's a bit trickier. Their cognitive toolkit might not be great for deep introspection, making it hard to see the full picture of their strengths and weaknesses. This lack of self-reflection tends to pump the idea of how smart they are. To add to the mix, these folks might not be the best judges of their own performance or knowledge. It's like their self-awareness radar is on the fritz, preventing them from spotting mistakes or gaps in their understanding. Number 6. They are possessing superficial knowledge. Think about it. What is the source of your knowledge? Is it a good book, your friends, the shows you watch, or your own thoughts? The source of your thoughts basically decides the weight of your knowledge, and sometimes people think they understand something really well, but their understanding is just basic. Let's say you're learning about animals and only know a little about cats. You might feel like you're an expert on all animals, but there's still so much you haven't learned about dogs, birds, or fish. This is similar to having only a shallow understanding of a subject, but thinking you're an expert on the whole thing. Superficial knowledge lacks depth and nuance. Less intelligent people may not realize the complexity of a subject, and this lack of insight contributes to an overestimation of their own intelligence. They may feel confident in their knowledge without recognizing the gaps in their understanding. Number 5. They are affected by cognitive biases. Our brains play tricks on us, making us see things in a certain way. These tricks are called cognitive biases. They can make us believe things that might not be true. People who may not be very smart often make decisions and form opinions based on cognitive biases, patterns of thinking that deviate from rationality. These biases can lead to overestimating their own abilities and knowledge. Imagine playing a game where you only notice the moves that match your strategy and ignore the ones that don't. This is a bit like cognitive bias. They make us pay attention to things that agree with what we already think and ignore things that disagree. Cognitive bias can make people see themselves as really smart, even if they're not. For example, if someone believes they're good at a game, they might only remember the times they did well and forget the times they didn't. This selective memory can make them think they're better than they really are. Number 4. They are focused on quantity over quality. People who might not be very smart sometimes think they're really smart because they focus on knowing a lot of things even if they don't understand them well. They believe having a large amount of information makes them intelligent, but it might not be accurate or deep knowledge. Imagine someone memorizing many facts without really understanding them. This happens because they think having more information automatically means they are super smart. In reality, being truly smart involves understanding things deeply and being able to use that knowledge wisely. So, the problem is that some people, especially those who may not be very smart, mistake knowing a lot of stuff, even if it's not accurate or deep, for being really intelligent. It's like thinking having a big pile of books makes you a great reader, even if you haven't actually read and understood what's inside them. Number 3. They are too impressed by their own ideas. People who may not be very smart sometimes think their ideas are amazing, even if they're not well thought out or based on accurate information. This self-impression happens because they lack the ability to critically evaluate their own thoughts. This self-admiration can lead to overconfidence as people believe their thoughts are more insightful or clever than they actually are. The challenge here is that they may not recognize when their ideas are flawed or when they need more careful consideration. Being impressed by their own ideas can make them overly confident in their intellectual abilities, even if their thinking lacks depth or accuracy. Real intelligence means being open to improving your ideas, not just loving them because they're yours. Number 2. They are inexperienced in diverse perspectives. Some people who might not be the sharpest tools in the tool shed sometimes act like they've got everything figured out on a subject. The catch? They're not too keen on considering different angles. This narrow focus can boost their confidence because they are not aware that there is a whole lot more to learn. Being stuck in a bubble of limited perspectives means missing out on understanding how others see things. It's like having blinders on, making someone think they're an expert even if they're overlooking valuable insights. When people exclusively see the world through their own lens, it's like sticking to the same radio station when there's a whole range of frequencies out there. Number 1. They are quick to judge others. You know how some people quickly judge others without giving them a fair chance, as if they're in a rush to form opinions? The problem? They end up thinking they've got people all figured out, even when they might not. This tendency to quickly form opinions can lead to overconfidence because people assume they know more about others than they actually do. Less intelligent people may lack the patience or critical thinking skills to consider alternative viewpoints. Instead, they rely on snap judgments, which can create an illusion of superiority. This arises from the belief that they have a complete understanding of people and situations without taking the time to gather sufficient information. If you have made it this far, comment down below with the word 100% to confirm that you have received the knowledge from this video. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.